I'm Sam Heifel. Welcome to the Entertainment Weekly 2024 Comic-Con studio. Joined now by two of the stars of Cobra Kai, also the hosts of the Lone Lobos podcast.
Thank you.
With this, did you get this merch made specifically for Comic-Con?
Yeah.
Sure did.
San Diego Comic-Con official. This is an exclusive 2024. Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Where can people buy it?
So this you can't buy. This we were just giving away today at Comic-Con, but you can, feel free to go check out our podcast. We do have other merch, but this is an SDCC exclusive. We have one for you though, Sam. Yeah, of course.
Okay, good. Then this is great. This is my favorite interview so far.
Suck it, Percy.
Nice. We bragged it. You thought of nothing.
No, we love you.
Okay, but talking about Cobra Kai, you guys have wrapped, right?
Done.
When did you wrap?
Just a few months ago.
End of May.
Okay.
Yeah, end of May.
What was that like? I like the end of anything makes me emotional, even if I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But
no,
I'm
I feel
like,
you on
what
that.
was it like to actually kind of say goodbye to the show, the characters? Did you do anything special?
We threw a rager at the Miyagi-Do house.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
We went overnight and snuck into the Miyagi-Do house and threw a little party. But aside from that, it feels like you're graduating. It really feels like you had these friends that you grew up with for, at this point, almost 7 years now.
Yeah.
And y'all are heading off to different colleges, but you made some lifelong friends, and I hope that we get to, reunite with them. Luckily, Jacob and I, we built a business together, so we're stuck in this one. But, for the rest of the gang, I hope we get to do more.
Yeah. When you say we threw a rager, like literally the two of you or like everybody?
It was like Jacob was like, we need to
I was the
into
pioneer in
Miyagi-Do.
this, yeah.
And then eventually, like, the last couple of weeks came up, and sure enough, like, we
made
were
it
able to
happen.
get some people on board, and before they demolished it, because it's gone already. Like, all of those sets are already all gone, all torn up, so it was nice to throw one last, like,
As soon as we would wrap out of a place, it'd just be the demo crew would be there the next day tearing it down.
Yeah, they're, like, ripping out the floors while we're doing the scenes.
While you're walking on them?
Yeah.
It's I've been on a couple sets as they're wrapping, and I'm always like, oh, this is over.
This
They give
is
you no
business.
time to say goodbye.
Yeah.
It's like, we're moving on. What made you guys decide, to start a podcast? You just, besties wanted to talk about some stuff?
We have too much to say, that's for sure. And it was an opportunity for us to allow the, audience that had loved Cobra Kai to really learn about Jacob and I. Because I think, especially for someone like Jacob, and maybe for a little bit for myself, we're playing these characters that are really different than who we are. Sure. And people assume Jacob is exactly like Hawk, and we got approached to do a video game podcast, and we're like, we're not really into that, so let's just shoot the shit. And and 3 years later, we finally launched our first merch. So it's slowly but surely starting to really work out. We have a great team with us, and it's kind of odd now finishing Cobra Kai and now, really stepping into this new world. I'm glad that at least we have the podcast so that we can hang out all the time. But we're always coming up with new stuff. We just did an episode here, so.
Nice. Did you guys meet on Cobra Kai?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was the bond pretty quick?
Super quick.
I would say so.
Jacob was one of the first young men to come on to the set as well, so we instantly clicked. I was a sophomore, junior in high school. Jacob was a senior, so already his energy is so welcoming and come on, let's do bro stuff. And I had 4 sisters growing up, so I was like, oh, this is so fun. Right? I never got beat up before by my friends. But yeah, that's how we met, and yeah, with our moms. Because we were minors, so our moms had to. It was they set us up for a little play date. Basically, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna meet at the lunchroom. Just hang out."
It was fun. Yeah, we were dinner partners at first.
Yes.
Wait,
actually,
hello?
our moms,
that got intense for
our
a second.
moms, our moms became friends first, and then we were like,
Yeah, we meet up for dinner, and we're like, "Is this?
I don't know. I think it's fine.
Is it okay? No, I thought there was a speaker."
"Oh, the acoustics were
Yeah, the
acousticing?"
acoustics are immaculate.
You're just
wow.
the voice of God.
Hear me now. Everyone here listening to Entertainment Weekly.
Oh, that's what it is. You hear the speakers.
Yeah.
I hear it.
Yeah.
Coming from back there. Sorry. That tripped me out for a second.
She's like, "That's all the time we have."
We're talking about that. I have always wanted to know though, what goes into a Cobra Kai fight scene? Where does
What doesn't?
I know. I'm like, that
Not
must
a lot of
be
prep.
weeks of prep. Is it not a lot of
Not
prep?
a lot of
No,
prep.
honestly, probably way less than you think.
Way less prep than you definitely think.
But we have the most, like, with each season, you get more trust with our stunt team. So, and they see more of what you can do. So they're building the fights around you. A typical day looks like, learning the fight the weekend before.
Okay.
Getting to run it like 50% speed with your stunt double, and then on the day you're just pounding it for like 10 hours, like pounding the scene. I mean, you're just like
Okay.
it's just a full ass day of fighting.
Here's an example. So for the season 2, if you have
Season 6. You don't want to give like
season 6. Season 6, episode 2, frat fight. If you haven't seen it, I'm sorry, I'm spoiling it. We fight a bunch of frat people. We drilled that for a day, the day before, 2 days before, for like 3-4 hours.
And then we got there and they said, actually, this room doesn't look like how we thought it was going to
so
look, so we
much
got to
smaller.
change the fight.
Yeah, so we changed the fight and then we shot it in like 2 hours.
Wait, change the fight with like how much time to learn the new fight?
It's basically like same moves, but they're like
You're over
well,
here,
yeah.
like shorten up this punch. Like, watch out for this guy's going to be running behind you as you're getting kicked back. Like, those are the things to watch out for.
Those
Stuff
things, like if we had choreographed a fight where everyone was kind of like in a circle, now the room is a hallway. So now we have to do the same fights, the same moves, but
In the hallway.
Thinner.
Oh, yeah. When I was practicing jumping over Gianni to do this flying knee, I was just jumping as far and as high as I could to send it. And the room we were in had the smallest ceiling. Yeah. So I couldn't jump.
He was like,
I was like, yeah!
he was hurt a little bit.
Yeah, so stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that are the changes that happen.
Has the show given you like a false sense of confidence, or do you...
100%. 10,000%. Anyone my height who tries to rock with me, you're getting knocked out.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true, though. There's a little bit of me that's like, well, they have cauliflower ear, and they're like, been training for 10 years, probably not, but there's something in me that's like, no, I know.
But that's the only person that could be Jacob. He's letting you know, unless you have cauliflower ear,
That's true.
it's not happening.
It's not happening. Yeah.
Myself, on the other hand, my reality is,
You're pretty grounded.
I'm pretty grounded. I feel like. I think I could have some
can you
fight or
beat up?
flight, but
Yeah, who could
can
you
I?
beat in a
Who
fight?
can you beat up? Like, pick a group of people that you would like to beat up.
My German Shepherd, dude.
Honestly, if you could beat up a
Sometimes-
German Shepherd, you're a good fighter.
Yeah, sometimes my dogs, like, now that I have 4 of them, it's a gang. So sometimes I need to fight them off.
I went to Sholo's house one time. I was picking up something for your mom, and it was right when you got your German Shepherd. I opened the door, and it's just, dude, couch cushions and pillow fluff everywhere. I was like,
I'm nervous.
I was like, oh no. I was the person that had to break the news to them. Très sans faute.
Yeah. What can you tell me, if anything, about the final episodes? What should we expect?
Death.
Great. Love it.
I don't know if he's joking, but if there is, you can expect closure for sure. Like, I don't want people to think it's one of those that's like, it's over, but like
You're not pulling like a Sopranos?
No.
Black?
It's very much like I'm so happy that our creators found true endings for like a lot of our characters, and of course, like we're saying, you can always bring them back, but our show there's so much like tumultuous. There's always so much to work through and so much friction. So to get to finally wrap up on a great note was happy. And then just the fights you can expect.
Yeah.
Like, not even just on our end, on everyone's end.
Crazy.
They brought their
choreo.
A game, and we just had Brandon Lee here at Comic-Con as well. And he's one of our new cast members, is almost better than our stunt people. So
Well, he's also a national taekwondo champion. Like,
Yeah.
The man can kick the moon.
So we're walking the walk before, but now
Yeah.
they're talking the talk.
Yeah. We have
could
people that
definitely
can
beat
really
up a
kick
German
our butts.
That's true.
Do you guys have a favorite fight, whether you were in it or just to watch?
The ones this year are really good, but the ones that maybe everyone has seen, I really like Coyote Creek. Like getting to film outdoorsy and with Jacob was really fun.
I mean, the season 2 school fight is just one of my favorites. It's
Can you
just
believe we were 18? Like, you were 18, I was 17?
yeah, that's weird thinking about that.
Jeez.
It's also, and
Yeah.
I just feel like from a writing perspective too, I just think it's really funny to pit a bunch of teenagers together and have them fight basically to the death in this TV show. like I scream out like, yeah.
I know our writers must have been really bullied as kids for them to be like,
Yeah, like this is the only way for this to end. It's like, damn, this feels personal. Like,
They just want to watch teenagers. I mean, teenagers getting punched in the face. A lot of them might need it.
Like we've had enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys steal anything from set? Any like mementos?
no.
Why not?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always been like a rule follower. I'm too scared to.
We just have to wait for the statute of limitation to.
I
That's fair.
plead the fifth.
The
Yes.
clothes, yeah. We take like we've been gifted our gis. That was really nice.
that's
We got to keep our gis after.
So you didn't have to steal anything.
No, didn't have to steal anything, but we got to.
The only things you have to steal are
The things they won't let you take.
the things you won't let you take. The geese, they're like, here you go.
Yeah.
I heard this from a friend, but they tried stealing something, and the next day wardrobe was like, hey, we didn't see that in your trailer, and they were like, oh, I put it there. And they're like, oh, okay, weird. That's
Yeah, the hard thing about not telling people you're stealing wardrobe is that like you can't post you wearing it. Like if you
Ever.
take a cool jacket, I'm like, whoa, Frank is gonna.
Frank will know.
But no, we got to take some awesome stuff. Miyagi rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. But nobody knows.
Miyagi Rock.
It was
True.
demolished.
That's true. It was demolished.
The Miyagi does. Yes. It's
Who
gone.
has it?
Yeah. Jacob, very important question.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite mohawk?
A favorite mohawk. It's a mohawk you guys haven't seen yet.
Okay.
It's actually my favorite. It comes in episode 12 or 13, I think.
Okay.
I got to pick it out. That's why it's my favorite, and I got to design it. But I really, really like the purple one.
Okay.
The purple one. I think maybe because it was so short-lived, because I got attacked in that
Sure.
season.
You got duck beat.
Yeah.
That's how a mohawk dies.
Do you have a
So-
favorite?
I actually know which one you're talking about, and I think it's my favorite. My coworker and I were talking about it before this interview, actually.
Yeah. Really? No way. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's actually what prompted the question.
The question?
Was that.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's my favorite.
So that's
Great minds think
that's a
alike.
good tease. A good
Yes.
tease for people.
Yeah.
All right. We'll end on that note, but thank you guys
Thanks
for
for having us.
stopping through. And everybody else, stay tuned to EW.com for all your Comic-Con needs.
Live.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I am Jared Hall in the Entertainment Weekly Comic-Con 2024 studio, hanging out for a bit today, but now here with the cast of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. We've got Owen Teague, Freya Allen, Kevin Durand, and Peter Macon. We've been having some fun today already, yeah? And now we're bringing it to the people on YouTube. That panel, folks were really excited to see like how this movie was made, and it's so cool. Was there anything really about the process that like blew your guys' minds that you didn't realize, like all of the aspects of bringing these characters to life?
The detail, learning about the side of the post-production and what went into it. I mean, I'm still enamored by it. So it was just, but it was really great to sort of have it spelled out in layman's terms, which I still don't understand. But
I was going to say, even with it being spelt out, spoken in layman's terms, it's still this magical, whimsical, like they're a bunch of wizards in New Zealand putting this together. You know,
I didn't understand just how much like kind of simultaneous cross-department communication there is. I thought it was like it goes to one place and then they do their thing, and then it goes to another place and they do their thing. But it's like they're all talking together at the same. I didn't. Yeah, I had no idea how it all worked.
It's amazing.
Impressive.
I have a ton of respect for what they do, and really am in awe of it. And it works so well in this movie, which is just, there are so many like memorable scenes and sequences that just like I kind of can't forget. But I'm curious for the ones of you who are in performance capture suits. What was do you remember the first time that you kind of practiced your version of an ape or an orangutan for someone, anyone, family member, for your director, Wes Ball?
Yeah.
I haven't.
Well, you have, but I remember in ape school for me, ape school was the thing that we all did to become apes. Our teacher, Elaine Gauthier, said, okay, everybody sit down on the floor, and now one person's going to get up, and I'm going to interview you as your character.
Oh.
Which was terrifying, because we'd never spoken, really. This was kind of, we were still doing silent improvisations with each other, just, using kind of, grunts and hoots and stuff.
What did that specific grunt mean? Does that have
that was hey, it's what's up? And he said, get up and you're going to speak, and I'm going to ask you questions. And they were kind of like just throwaway questions, just like, what's your favorite food? Like, what do you like to do?
Sweet.
Right, and that was Raka's first word. It was this amazing moment where Peter just goes,
sweet.
Yeah. But I think that was what kind of forced us to find the voices and become comfortable with being this other thing in front of people. It really put us like, there you go.
Thrown in, yes.
I think my first aping was after seeing the 68 film when I was a kid. And I started doing my ape runs everywhere, and in the back from where I was living.
You've been preparing for this your whole life, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, there was a forest back there. We used to build all these tree forts, like up in the trees, and I remember just running through the forest as an ape, and just, I mean, it was just a visceral, very cemented part of my childhood, and then getting to go out to Sydney and work with Alain and learn, like really break it down from, anatomical perspective and go, oh, this is what's different and this is what's the same. And putting it all together and then starting to move with it and, and the voice, it just, Freya's like, oh my God, I've heard this so many times. They're just talking about aping all the time.
I know. My first experience with the material was with the audition, and it was maybe 2 pages, or but it's very limited amount of information. So from the beginning, having to sort of free associate and do imagination work, and try to just take a stab at what that actually could possibly be like.
Try to figure out what was going
just
on
physically, and and just that's your choice. Like that's the shot that you shoot. And I remember that feeling the connective tissue of that experience to Ape School, because then it was like very, specifying that information and how we organize the information to speak and to think like an ape, and let alone physical, moving physically. But yeah, I was struck by that too, because it was like he said like, go ahead, and then I saw your audition, and then Wes cut our auditions together. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm beginning to see what this could possibly be, So
He sent me that even before I met you.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It cut like perfectly, the two auditions. It was nuts.
On the flip side of that, Freya, what was the first time you saw any of them doing their thing?
Yes. So I actually left the Witch. Everyone was like, what do you want to do next? I was like, something really normal, just people around a table having a chat.
Yeah.
Cut to. I've flown out to Australia. I'm walking down into this like dungeon, and there are a bunch of humans running around, just making crazy noises. And I've got Owen coming up to me, greeting me like that. And I'm like, yeah, of course. I said I wanted something normal, and now I'm in something where there's humans being chimpanzees.
Surrounded by freaks.
By absolute weirdos. And I've
Proof that you really kind of can't plan your career. It will take you where it wants.
No, and listen, very grateful, but didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was amazing. It was just, it was. I remember in that moment thinking, God, I'm glad I'm a human. Like, they look ridiculous. And then now I'm kind of like, could I ever go?
Oh.
Like now I'm like, I've heard it so much now. I'm like, okay, go on then. Give me a
Did
go.
you ever get in the suit just to try it out?
Well, I was in a suit 2 days, and I didn't love the suit.
Oh.
Also, I didn't have a special suit. They had special suits, obviously, because they had to wear them all the time. You can go to the toilet. I couldn't really go to the toilet, and that's a bit of a problem. Anyway, so I didn't love that experience because I was just in there with them for their reactions or whatever. But yeah, I would love to. I'd love to be an extra ape maybe one day.
Yeah, get in there on scenes, days that aren't your. Yeah.
Exactly.
For the powers that be, if that second movie happens, the next one, make that happen. The success of this film, I mean, I can't imagine the nerves going into the opening. But as I mentioned in the panel today, 171 million domestic, 400 worldwide. Do you guys have like a group text where you like checking in with each other? Like, holy cow, this is it.
It's called Ape Posse.
Ape Posse. All right.
Posse, yeah.
I actually never put anything on, but I see little names pop up, and I'm like,
either.
I know.
Are you like an emoji reactor? Or that
No. I'm just silent.
You're
But
like
I
muted.
do look at it, and then occasionally when I pluck up the courage, I do something.
I honestly, I didn't know that you were on it. That's how quiet.
How quiet it is.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I know.
I honestly didn't. No disrespect. I just didn't know.
I'm just so in my
You responded
character
a
on that
couple
group
times.
chat.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just don't speak.
Yeah.
Has it? Yeah, it's. I am on it, but I haven't said anything in a long time. Is it still going?
I don't think any of us we didn't really comment on the actual success of the film from an audience perspective and a fiscal success. I think the success for us, I mean, wow, that is amazing because maybe that affords us an opportunity to get the dance together, monkey dance, ape dance. But the success, I feel like for all of us was like to watch it and go, oh man, you were great. Like everybody, I think we were also proud of each other.
Yeah.
Like that's what it felt like. It was a genuine. There was a genuine love amongst the entire posse, and it was just pride.
It's so
and
exciting seeing all this new footage that we
Yeah,
did.
see today.
Yeah, we'd never seen any of
Like
that.
little bits of it'll drop like on Instagram or somebody will
Oh my
post
God.
something, and I'm just like, I've never seen this. This is amazing. So,
And I was starting to almost tear up listening to Dan Zimmerman talk about certain things, listening to all of that stuff that we weren't a part of, the work that went in after we left, and
assembly
just
and everything.
hearing the finite detail, the passion, the love for it. It's just really cool to hear that.
Yeah. To that point, last thing I want to ask here, that this is what's really cool, guys. This film, on the 4K Blu-ray release, there will be a side-by-side of the full movie of just the performance capture in split with the final product of the film. So you can watch it that entire way. That's some of the stuff like you had not seen before.
Never. No.
Never.
Oh, so that's like a nice special treat for you guys too. You get to watch it in a whole new way.
It's like you get to watch the movie all over
All
again,
over.
a brand new movie.
I think we should all get together.
I think we
and
should have a
watch
party,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, we should have a party.
Yeah.
Like a slumber party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Like a sleepover.
All right.
Hot dogs,
Bananas?
smoothies.
Sorry.
I'm going to give you my number to add to the 8
wanna
posse, and
come
I'll
hang?
come over and chill with you.
Come
Yeah,
hang.
but yeah, folks, you can get that the 4K Blu-ray. It's August 27th, and then Hulu on Disney Plus. August 2nd, so you can watch this all over again and enjoy it from the comfort of home. You guys, thank you so much. Congrats on the success, and enjoy the rest of your Comic-Con.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
great.
Thanks so much.
And be sure to stick around. We have a lot more interviews coming up and full coverage at EW.com. See you back here soon.
I'm joined now by the team behind Teacup, a big mystery, I have to say. Even trying to find anything about the show online is real difficult. But I want to start with Ian and James. Like, where does it even start? How does this project even come into the world?
Get ready. How did it come into your world?
James's company, Atomic Monster, I'd met with them several times over the years. They knew my work. I, of course, knew who they were. And they came to me with this book and said, are you interested in adapting this? And I read the book and I said, yes, but I'm going to change everything. And here's the script that I've written that changes 90% of the book. And for some reason, they went, oh, great, and they fell in love with it, thankfully. And we went from there. Is that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that answers it.
That is an answer.
That's an answer.
That's an answer.
Yeah.
It's one of them, right?
Yeah. So James, it had already been in your world then by that point.
Yeah, we're a big fan of the book, or the world of the book, and then when Ian came along, we really loved his take on it, and so it felt like the right thing to sort of jump into with him.
Yeah, that's it. Your take
until we met him, and we're like, oh shit. That's all right. We'll cut it out. YouTube.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll back it up. Wow.
Yeah. Well, that answers. I was going to ask how close of an adaptation it was, and I guess the answer is not close at all.
It's a very different version. The book is a very big book. It's got a lot of set pieces, a lot of characters. It's an entire town, and what I wanted to do was take all that away and keep the ideas of the book, and an adaptation where you can read the book. I wanted to make something where even if you read the book, you don't know what's going to happen next.
Sure.
And part of that had to do with making it a minimal story. It was a maximalist piece of fiction, and so I made it very grounded. Instead of a town, it's 3 families. Instead of a large area, it's one secluded farm, and that way keeping it very, very grounded so that when things start to go wrong and start to go strange and start to go supernatural, we're starting from a level of very relatable human characters at ground level.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this cast. Did they tell you all more about this when you joined, or were you joining a somewhat mystery project?
Go ahead. I mean, no, I heard, I'd been wanting to work with Ian for a long time, and I'd heard he was writing something in the horror space, and knowing him as well as I did, I wanted to check out what this was. So behind his back, I got my agent to send me 3 scripts, and I read them very quickly, and yeah, I did. Yeah, that's what happened.
I didn't realize that was a true story.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. And loved them, and then because I knew he was going to be great with the character stuff in the world and all that, and I wanted to see what he was going to do in the horror space. But it was amazing, and I thought this was a part I could really play, and I had to go and try to convince him that was true, which took some time.
You had to be convinced.
Really?
We're still
debating. That's what I mean. I don't think he's totally sure it was the right call.
Yeah. Did you steal some scripts? How did you?
I didn't steal scripts. No. I read them. I was a little on the fence, to be honest, about doing something that was a genre piece, an ongoing series. And then I read it. I was like, oh, okay, this is different. And then, to be honest, I got on a Zoom with Ian, and Ian really sold me on it. He had a really classy vision for the show and wanted to keep it really grounded in this family drama aspect of it. And then all the rest of it is super awesome, bingey kind of TV stuff. So it just kind of felt like a really good mixture of all the elements that I was interested in doing.
Yeah, amazing. I'm going to come to the back.
Yeah. I think it was a meeting on Zoom as well with Ian and Evan, and they pitched me the idea and also the character, which really intrigued me. Because one of the taglines, he said, everything was underneath, it's subtext, because of all the drama going on. Nothing's on the surface, and that's what really intrigued me. And I find that really challenging as an actor, and that's why I signed on.
Yeah. What can you all tell me about your characters?
I don't even know anymore. We've been doing this all day. It's like there's a lot of things that we can't even talk about.
There's a marriage.
There's a marriage.
Yeah, we
We're
have a family,
married.
yeah.
Okay.
We have children.
Well, yeah.
Right. One is 9. One is a teenager.
I
16.
had no idea how old they were. How old are they?
They're 9 and 16.
News to me. Great.
Do you know their names?
I mean, not really.
Do you know your last name?
Chenoweth.
Correct.
What is this, 20 questions?
As I said, we're still
I'll
on the
take the whole
fence.
thing.
Just to clarify, you filmed the whole thing?
Yeah.
How many episodes have you filmed?
8.
I think. 8 episodes.
Okay, 8 episodes.
Scott's joking. They
Yes,
know
yes, yes.
about their characters. It's just that the nature of the show, the nature of the adaptation was, as I said, like to have people not know what's going to happen next. And so the series, from changing the name all the way through to the end of the 8th episode, it's mystery upon mystery upon mystery. So it's hard to talk about because we don't want to spoil anything.
Sure.
Not because spoilers, but because I want people to have the experience for the first time,
Yeah.
not knowing, oh, James, is I was going to be mean. James. Oh, James is played by Scott Speedman. No, you want them to come in and have the experience because it is a new show and it is a new, we want people to buy into it. And part of that is buying into the puzzle of it.
Sure. Well, and also we can say, I mean, because it plays out in real time, like over the course of 48 hours. And so that's part of the whole, the layout of the show. And we want people to be discovering everything as the characters are discovering everything in the moment, in all the horror and the terror and all the family drama as well. So that's kind of the structure, I think, what we can say.
Sure. I do have, James, I want to come to you for this because whenever I see like horror in anything, my first question is like, okay, but how scary? Because I have to gauge if I'm going to be able to handle it. What can you tell me?
How scary? I don't know. I don't know if I'm the right person to be asking about this because my threshold and tolerance is a bit different to yours. I think it's very thrilling. Yeah. I think you're going to really enjoy it. It's like what everyone's saying. It's in the genre space, but at the end of the day, it's a drama, and that's how to me the best kind of genre, like shows or movies are based around characters and situations that you can relate to, and that's stuff that I've learned from the movies that I've made. Yeah. Whether it's a haunted house or a serial killer or whatever, right? If you have people that you care about, you can kind of bring the audience onto whatever journey you want them to go into. Yeah. But there definitely is a lot of like pretty creepy, messed up things in this.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. No, I was just going to add to that. Like, it's creepy, but also, like, we go on this journey with these characters. I mean, and hopefully we get to know these characters enough that by the end, when we get to the 7th and the 8th episode, we've really earned these amazing moments that we did on set that are really kind of extraordinary. I mean, definitely for me, they were first as an actor and very, very challenging and just kind of horrific. Like, these are horrific situations that these characters end up being placed in, and that was sort of one of the most exciting things.
It was oddly fun.
Super, like, there were some of the best days, the most fun days that we had on set. So I just wanted to go off of that.
And I agree. And, this is what I'll say to that is most people are going to come to this show for the genre, right? Yeah. They love the excitement of that, but then they're going to stay for these guys. Sure. That's the bottom line. They're going to fall in love with the characters and the storytelling, and that's the best way to tell these kind of stories.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, last thing I'm doing, Scott, this is about you. This is the thing we're doing at Comic-Con. We're walking down memory lane. What do you remember about this wonderful...
You were in Felicity? Yeah.
Do you remember anything about that shoot?
I do. This was probably the first time we hung out in a long time. So I remember that being a fun day. I remember not wanting to wear what I'm wearing.
These chic pajamas?
Happy I wasn't in the pink. But no, that was a fun day. I need time to hang out with these guys. Pretty fun. That was 25th.
What year is it?
Yeah.
2018, I think. No, that would have been 20.
It should be 2015. Almost 10 years ago.
Wow, gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool, thanks for that.
Anyway, you're welcome. Anyways, all right. Well, thank you guys for stopping through. Everybody else, stay tuned to EW.com for all your Comic-Con needs.
Hello, everyone. I am Jared Hall, hanging out in the Entertainment Weekly Comic-Con 2024 studio with the cast of Transformers 1. We've got Brian Tyree Henry, Chris Hemsworth, and Keegan-Michael Key. Gents, how are you?
We're doing well. How are you doing, man? Good to see you, Jared.
Yeah, exactly. Nice and warm here in Southern California, but soaking in that breeze where we can. You guys, this your panel today, lots of folks really excited for this because this fandom, I mean, God, I was a huge fan when I was a kid and took in everything. I still have action figures packed away in the family's basement back home. I'll start with you, Chris, with this because you know a little something about popular IPs. Were you able to take your experience with Marvel and apply it here with this fandom in any way?
I was just excited to be here. You know, I hadn't been here since I think Ragnarok, and then it starts bringing up memories about the very first time I was here with Avengers 1 and Thor 1. It was 12 years ago or something.
Wow.
And there's no better fan base or audience than coming to the San Diego Comic-Con Hall H and being met with that kind of enthusiasm and the appreciation and love for these characters and stories is equal to what we have brought to it and we feel, and I really love it here. It's unmatched, this experience.
Yeah. Brian, tell me this. A lot of folks are really interested in what this dynamic's going to be like because this film is it's an origin story of Optimus Prime and Megatron when they were actually allies. So what do you think folks might be a little surprised to see in the process of this story unfolding?
That they really enjoyed each other. Like that they actually were truly brothers that, didn't go anywhere without one another, that really cared about one another, that would do anything for one another. But also to see that they also had hopes and dreams and what happens when, you become disillusioned and you really have to stand up for what you believe in. It really feels like, like a coming of age, like college buddy story. Where you're sent off, to find out who we are, we discover each other, and then, we just venture off to figure out who we really are. But I think that you'll see a lot of heart as well in this movie, which is what I really love because all of these characters, when we got them, it was very action-packed, which this still is, but like there is story behind them. There is personality. Like you'll even see them emote, you'll see us like scream and I don't want to say cry, but like you'll see a lot of emotion, and that's what we're hoping that the viewers walk away with is actually caring about these characters that we've known for so long.
Yeah. Keegan, I get the sense that you, like myself, a longtime fan.
Long-time fan from a long ago. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
The biggest fan, possibly.
From the longest, the longest
fan,
ever goes.
Wikipedia.
I could say he's definitely the biggest fan. But I guess
your biggest fan.
Oh, Chris. No, I am a person who watched the cartoon in my formative years. Came home every afternoon after school, watch it, and I invested in the characters, and also because there was something very classic about there's something always very classic about pure good versus pure evil, and then it was black and white. It was very binary when I was a kid, and this movie is gray.
Wait, the cartoon
was
super, black and white when
when I watched it, it was black and white. I was like, really? Wow.
No, in the 40s.
Yes,
right.
in the 1940s. Yeah, I had the first television. But a very kind of basic sense of good and evil. And this movie is very, to go back to the white-black metaphor, this movie is very gray. And you, as Brian was saying, there's a lot of depth to these characters, and you get to see their points of view. And in a way, you want the audience to struggle with this them kind of defecting from each other and all of the things that take place in their life. So I was so thrilled and honored to be a part of this because it made me it harkened back to that time, and I can use all of that knowledge to go, oh, so this is what happened. And I want everybody who's in my age group or in younger than me, people who are fans of the franchise, to go, so that's what I want people to come away with. This is what happened. Yeah,
I'm excited for that. As it goes with doing voiceover work, I'm curious if you guys had ideas of what you wanted the characters to sound like, and then you maybe presented it to director Josh Cooley, and he was like, no, I just want you. I want you. I want you with perhaps a little more gravitas. I mean, people will be shocked to know you actually have a really high-pitched voice, and you lowered it for this.
Thanks, right. The octave is just terrible. That's the great thing about Josh is that he is a fan of this as well. And it really makes a difference when you're working with collaborating with someone who is a fan of it, who really holds it precious and wants to, take care of it. And so what was really great about Josh is that you knew you were doing something pretty great when you could see his inner child like bust out, and like it was always a discovery. I remember knowing that it was going to be Chris, and I was like, well, we hadn't met each other yet, but I was like reading the script and I was like, oh, well, we're very comfortable with each other. There's a lot of care. I remember thinking the first thing I went out, I was like, at some point I'm going to say I am Megatron, right? And so you know what that is, but then like everything that led up to it is your discovery. And so for me, playing one of the most iconic villains, and I put air quotes because I'm always like, villains don't start that way,
right?
And
they don't think of themselves.
They don't.
Way.
They really fight for what they believe is true, and they're fighting against what they believe is unjust. But I was like, oh, well, where's his levity? Like, where is D16's levity? Does he laugh? Does he get scared? Like, what are the things he really champions for? And so Josh just allowed us to bring a lot of elements of who we are in there, and knock it out that way.
It was one of my first questions. I said, well, am I wanting me to mimic Peter Cullen and do that? Just go get Peter Cullen, and he said, no, this is it's the origin story, as you say, but these are different versions of these characters. They're not, or Optimus Prime that we know and love, the all-knowing, powerful, omnipresent, godlike figure. This is the brash, young, cocky teenage version, and he's finding his feet, and he's full of hopes and aspirations and so on, but he's anti-authority and doesn't really want to follow the rules, and he has a very strong opinion, and he's breaking rules and so on. And that was what was intriguing, because the idea of this, following Peter Cullen was intriguing, exciting, and terrifying. And so I was thankful that we got to create our own thing, and then toward the end of the film, as just for myself, with Orion Pax becoming Optimus Prime, we played a little bit more with the cadence and the rhythm of what Peter Cullen had done so brilliantly, and hint a little bit toward. But it was an ongoing sort of exploration. There'd be days when you'd push it a bit far or not far enough, and then I'd hear what the other cast were doing as well, and go, oh, okay, that's funny. We could try this, and there was a lot more sort of humour to it. It's heartbreaking as well, but it's fun. It's an adventure film. It's great.
Yeah. Keegan, did you get the chance to improv? Because there's a moment that is, I think, might be a nod to the Aatron. Like, did you get to
that was not me?
Oh,
that was written. Somebody else wrote that. That was in the script.
Did they know you were already?
At that time, they must have known. I think they'd known. Yeah, it was. I think it was written for me when they knew I had said yes, but it was somebody else's idea, which shows you how much fun everybody was having in the process. You know what I mean? So that was very. That was very sweet. I thought I was very sweet, and I was really on board for that. And to answer your previous question, when it came to Josh, I was game to do anything he wanted. I do a lot. I like doing voiceover, and I like the challenge of sometimes saying, I want someone to walk out of a movie and go, that was Keegan-Michael Key? And in this one, Josh said, I want it as close to you as possible. I want B to be a version of you. And so it was interesting to kind of. I was unfettered in regard to having changed my timbre or my pitch or anything like that. And it was actually quite an interesting experience to be able to just kind of. It was a little naked, it's just me. Yeah.
Like physically in the studio,
in the booth.
Just to be clear,
that was a must from Josh.
That's his process. Yeah.
Wait for those DVD extras. Chris, I got to ask. You are going to be part of the live-action Transformers G.I. Joe.
I don't know yet.
We don't know yet.
I keep getting asked about it, and Lorenzo had brought it up when I was recording this film, and Lorenzo Bonaventura has created this world and been so brilliant at bringing the films to life. And we started talking about where the universe could expand and how fun it could be, and look, I'm just down for great filmmakers, great scripts, great stories. And there's a lot of potential in this universe, in both the sort of G.I. Joe world and the Transformers world, to recreate, try something different. I think that's really fun, to give something to audiences that is, a new take and something fresh. But it's in that sort of early creative discussion stage. Nothing official, but
okay.
But it could be cool.
You would be in the same capacity, voice, or we don't know yet.
I'm not even sure. And I was like, am I going to be like talking to myself. Am I still going to play Optimus Prime and then switch over to G.I. Joe and be like,
regardless, I'm going to watch it. You know what I mean?
Not paying for that ticket. Yeah.
Do I get paid twice? What's happening here?
And yes,
that's you get paid twice.
That's the important question. Yeah. Well, as we start to wrap up here, we are taking a look back at the history of EW, and we have some OG covers here. I do believe this is the first time you would have appeared on the cover of Entertainment Weekly. Chris, here we go, as Thor, speaking of Avengers earlier, your first EW cover.
Oh, look at that. First wig.
Those locks.
Wig, how's that?
Goldie locks.
Tresses. You know what I mean? Those are called tresses. That's what that is.
You look so young and healthy. Just depressing.
Not at all, bro.
Old, man.
And then we've got Keegan here, the old comedy issue.
Yes,
do you remember that?
You haven't changed a bit.
I think yes, I remember this.
Clearly
this
trying to
great.
break each other's necks or something.
That was the first. That was the first. Yeah, that was the first cover that we were on. Yeah, that's beautiful.
The cruelest joke is that I got to hold both of your EW covers.
I'm like, wait, what are you doing?
And
you have been on the cover. It was a digital cover, Eternals.
Digital cover.
Right. So we'll make a print one happen.
That's
somehow.
so kind.
You know, one of our special issues. We'll make that happen. Guys, it has been a pleasure. Congrats on the film. And for however much longer you're here, enjoy Comic-Con.
Thank you, Jared.
Thanks for coming through.
So
Don't go anywhere. We have more interviews coming up and full coverage at EW.com. Hey, welcome back to Entertainment Weekly's coverage of Comic-Con 2024 here in San Diego. I am Dalton Ross, sitting here with the cast of The Walking Dead: Dead City, which will be returning in 2025 on AMC and AMC Plus. Lauren Cohan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Gaius Charles, and Jelko Ivanek. How's it going, guys? Thanks so much for coming in. Good to have you here.
Good to be here.
Thanks. Nice to see you.
Used to see you. We've seen each other a lot at Comic-Con. You guys have done a lot of these.
Well, we haven't been here in like forever.
Right.
3-4 years.
And your first time here in San Diego, I think, with Dead City, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So what's that like for you two? Have done this rodeo a bunch, but now a little bit different.
I mean, it feels good. We talked about all year. Well, not even all year, but we talked a lot about how excited we were to come back to Comic-Con because we've not been here. I think Dead City was already out by the time.
Well,
it
no.
lost.
Remember, we did an interview.
Because of the
We
strike.
did a thing.
Yeah.
No, we did a thing that we sent for a sizzle reel for everybody else that was friggin' here.
Yeah.
Andy and Denai and Norman were here. And so we did a video from set because they wouldn't let us come.
But then we threw a party at set, and we didn't invite.
They wouldn't let us
You
come.
invited them. They weren't allowed. They weren't allowed. Well, we're going to get into all the second season of the new show in a second, but we like to sort of go back and do a little history. Entertainment Weekly and the Walking Dead franchise has a long history, and we have a long history with you guys. And so we thought it'd be fun to sort of celebrate a little bit. We brought a few of the covers here. This is from, look at Lauren there. That's season 5. I think that's 10 years ago.
Oh, geez.
10
Looks
years
like 25,
ago.
but
Leading into, what do you remember about that,
I can't
Lauren?
even say
You've
anything
seen
about that cover. I'm just going to be quiet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so funny. I remember the day we did that. It just feels like yesterday. No, it was all this motion control stuff, and Andy's was crazy, swinging some stuff.
like
I
an
think the sweat was flying.
Yeah.
It was captured. Yeah. But this was fun. I remember this was a. I mean, new characters, freakier zombies, more kissing, any kissing
on that show.
Yeah.
You guys did more than kissing on that show.
More kissing, question mark.
I think there's not, but we're just going to ask the question anyway. And then let's look at the introduction of this guy right here.
Come on
Look at that.
Hey,
Season 7. This is right
That's
after the
cold. That's
lineup.
cold right
Making me sweat. That's all right.
Like that. What do you remember about that, JDM?
I remember the photo shoot, certainly. Yeah. I remember how mad Glenn fans were. But I remember that photo shoot was in the back lot. That was the back lot in Georgia, And I beat the crap out of lots of inanimate objects.
Yeah.
It was fun.
For the shoot or just...
It was right after we had shot. It was the first week back for season 8 that we shot that. Right. So that's right, Batman Returns.
Good stuff.
It was fun.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, big change this season because you filmed it up in Boston. You guys left the great state of New Jersey.
But it's still New York.
But still takes place in New York, but it's shot in Boston. But what was the biggest sort of difference filming up there for you all?
Anybody?
No, we actually shot a lot of it out of order. We shot a lot of block shooting, so there's a lot of jumping around between scenes and some between episodes. So to me, it kind of kept us on our toes, because we'd be like, wait, where are we? Okay, this episode and this thing, and then that. So that was really cool. And I think also just seeing how Boston actually could stand in for some of New York. Me being, born in New York, raised in New York and New Jersey, I was like, all right, let's see what this is going to be. But I mean, I've seen clips of it and it really looks good.
Yeah.
The sets were great. I think we got a good bang for our buck, is what I think.
Yeah. And I heard, a little birdie told me, there was a ping pong table on set. And I hear someone sitting right here was a monster on the ping pong set. Jelko?
That's an exaggeration. I did beat Eli once.
Your showrunner.
He was beating me. But I was also I couldn't wear my glasses because of my earpiece, so I was using that as an excuse for the fact that I didn't do better. But there was a major tournament that went on through the whole season.
The whole crew had a tournament every lunch.
There were 3 tables.
Yeah, it was
ping pong
very
is life.
competitive. And you come back from lunch and everybody's dripping with sweat and be like, what the hell is going on here? Ping pong.
It's the best. It's literally the best. Nobody gets sleepy at lunch. They get energized, and then,
Have you transferred your skills from the pickleball court onto the ping pong table yet?
Freaking bet I have.
Okay, all right, there it is. That's what we want to know. All right, so listen, Lauren, Maggie ended last season. We know, saying she told Herschel, this thing with Negan, I'm going to finish it. What does that mean? What does finishing it with the man sitting to your right mean?
I think for the purposes of last season, of season 1, it was resolving this so that you and I as mother and son can have a relationship that's healthy, where I'm not blinded by everything wrapped up in my feelings about this person to my right. But things end up happening at the beginning of season 2. Maybe this kind of went on the shelf, and maybe Maggie's been in some sort of denial at trying to repair the relationship with Herschel, and has it worked as we get to season 2? And then there's a big inciting incident with this fella that forces us all into another collision where we really get to road test how well Maggie and Herschel have really done, and it's pretty great.
What about?
Well, it's not great at all.
It's not
terrible.
great.
There's
It's
like
terrible.
a
That's
cult
what makes
leader.
it great.
My son goes down a terrible dark road, and it's cheery, sinister times.
Hey, being a parent of a teenager is never difficult, right? That's
Right.
always easy. I don't know what.
Yeah.
In the apocalypse.
That's right. Add that one. JDM, last time we saw you, I remember you telling me after season 1 with the situation with the Dama, you said Negan's effed, only you didn't say effed. You didn't. You used a more colorful language than that. So what does that look like for him now heading into season 2?
He's still effed. I think the season starts off very much how it ended last year, except for maybe Negan's figured out he's more effed than even he thought he was at the end of season 1. This season, I think it's a lot of Negan being humbled and trying to figure out. You know, he's always been a chess player and can stay kind of a move at least ahead of his rivals, and I think he's up against it with the Croat, with the Dama, and he's kind of a pawn in a game now, and he's trying to figure out his way out of it.
Mm. And Željko, I mean, I remember at the end of season 1, the Croat described Negan and the Dama as like daddy and mommy. So what does that make the Croat in that? If that's mommy and daddy, what are you? Where are you?
Like, what am I? 'Cause
More kissing? Question mark?
It's like once we get mommy and daddy together, then like where are you and where do you fit in? Because he gets kind of everything he wants at the end of that, and then realizes the dynamics are not exactly what he had in mind, because there's also suddenly this jealousy that springs up. So we're all kind of on the same side, but the dynamics, the personal dynamics, get twisted around, and it's fun to watch that through the whole season.
That's awesome. Guys, when we last saw your character, he's chilling in New Babylon. He's got the cigar. He's, maybe things are getting a little dicey there, but I mean, he definitely seemed to be a changed man by the end of season 1. So what does that mean for season 2?
Yeah, I think I'm really trying to make the best out of a messed up situation. And we kind of see how, Negan kind of a lot of the characters opened my eyes to just how New Babylon is not what I thought it was. But I still got to work with it. I still, got to find a way to balance it all out. And you see me try. You see me do my best. But, of course, The Walking Dead being The Walking Dead, I have some, let's just say Maggie calls me out many times. She definitely reads me the riot act, and she kind of helps me, see things. She calls me out my bullshit and helps me see things more clearly. So,
As do you for her.
Yes,
in many ways.
Yes.
So I hear we have a director for season 2 sitting amongst us here somewhere. Lauren, tell me what that experience was like. I know you got your hands real dirty being an executive producer on the show last season, now going behind the camera. What was it like bossing this guy around?
That was my favorite part of the whole thing. No, it was like a dream come true. Honestly, I just our show is from the jump set up to be great because of who's in it, and because of the friendship that we have, and because of the production team that we have. And then I just was really excited to be as inspired as I am by the script and by the episode that I got to direct, and sort of helm bringing that to other people. I think that's the thing, is you read it, it moves you in certain ways, and you say, okay, how do I delicately take this to a bigger audience and hope that they're also moved in the same ways? And our crew and our production team and my friends are, I honestly, like, I'm so brimming over with just gratitude for the whole thing. It was the best experience ever.
Oh, I cannot wait to see that on the screen. And sometimes we don't see everything on the screen. You know, you guys are filming there. I'd be curious. Love to hear from each of you, just to hit me with like your favorite maybe day or moment of filming. It could be something from season 1 that we saw, or it could be a tease about something for season 2. But any sort of fun on set anecdotes you have for us would be great. Lauren, why don't we start with you and go down the line?
Can I just tee up Jeffries? He doesn't want to tell the story. He doesn't want to tell it.
No,
you don't want to tell
You
it.
can do it. It just shows that I'm an idiot. But we already.
No, it doesn't. No.
Do tell.
It's the funniest thing I think that happened all year, but it was only funny in hindsight.
No, it was funny.
It's funny at the time. Yeah, when you tell it.
It's funny if it didn't happen to you.
Funny if it didn't.
All right, so Negan's didn't be a Negan, and he's generally, he's locked up for half of his life, and he's happens to be locked up in this half of his life, and he's eating cockroaches. Half of the plate that I'm eating was real cockroaches, because it looks really good on camera, and half were like chocolate, but no one told me. And I can't see anything without my glasses on, and I'm just seeing brown little blobs on a plate, and I'm eating them. I'm like, takes over, and I'm like, well, that sure didn't taste like custard and chocolate, and I'm bitching after every one, and they're all looking at me like I'm an idiot. Finally, there's like legs sticking out of my teeth, and I realized that I've been eating no one told me there's real cockroaches at all. That wasn't an option. I was told chocolate or custard. No. And
This wasn't on our episode.
Yeah, I ate a whole, like, probably 20 real cockroaches in front of everybody, and everyone kind of knew, except for me, what was going on.
You went method.
I went full method. I went full Daniel Day-Lewis without knowing that I was doing it.
The commitment to the craft,
yeah.
Jeffrey. The commitment to the craft. That's incredible.
Was that you directing that?
No, that's what I'm saying. I would never let that happen. You knew they were there. Don't lie. It was your cockroach fantasy.
Yeah, I was just into
Oh,
it.
the joke is, do you remember in the first season, though, there was supposed to be...
Yeah.
There was... Oh, no!
The bus scene.
We land behind the wall of the cars and buses in season 1, and then we were supposed to have them crawl into our mouth. We were supposed to have something.
Yeah, the one was going to crawl into my
Yeah.
mouth. And I
And
was
we were
like,
like,
nope,
yeah,
nope,
this was
not doing that.
Yeah. And I guess that cockroach was determined to kiss
This is
you.
karma.
More
This is
kissing?
Karma. More kissing?
More kissing. All right, so Lauren, what have you been eating on set that you weren't supposed to be eating?
Oh my gosh, rats! Oh, rats! I just flossed my teeth with rat tails. Now, come on, it's New York.
So give me your favorite scene or day or filming moment.
Or directing.
Or directing.
I gotta be cheesy,
She
but
was
it
amazing,
was
by the way, directing.
Yeah.
Like phenomenal. Like
yes.
like outstanding. You know, like to carry the show in the way she does, and then to step into the director's chair, like, calling action or somebody calling action, and she walks in, does the scene, like, is doing her thing, but then can give people notes afterwards. It's just phenomenal. It's awesome to watch.
I was so nervous on the first day, and our first day was a scene that we had together. It was like a little group scene, and then I just said to guys at the beginning, I was like, okay, so we'll have a conversation before. I'll be director Lauren now, and then we'll be in scene, and we'll be together like this. And you were like, it was just at every turn, I just really had to like support and everything. And my favorite day was every day of directing 206. But my favorite days were probably when I wasn't acting. I really liked the days when you two had a big scene together, when you and Mahina had your scene, and when you and Kier had that. But yeah,
That's
too
awesome.
many. It's too cheesy. You guys will get it when you see the stuff when it comes out.
All right. Well, they're telling us we're out of time. I know you guys got to run. You got places to be and things to do, but I cannot wait for the panel tomorrow. And I can't wait for season 2 of The Walking Dead: Dead City coming in 2025 on AMC and AMC+. Guys, thanks so much. Always love hanging with you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Go Seahawks.
I'm Sam Heifel. Welcome to the Entertainment Weekly 2024 Comic-Con studio. I am joined now by a 20-year reunion. Mary McDonnell, Ron Moore, Battlestar Galactica. You have had your panel, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, 20. First of all, aside from your panel, did you guys do anything to celebrate 20 years?
Well, we are going to in Chicago in October. We're having a 20-year reunion, in Chicago in October.
Do you all remember? I'm gonna test your memory here. We'll see what comes up. Like the very first. I know you were working on Star Trek, I believe, when it kind of came to like the first time you kind of even heard of this iteration of Battlestar Galactica.
I got a call from David Icke, who was at the time he was an executive at a network, and he and I had worked together before. And he just called me up in like January, February of 2002, and said, I'm at Universal. They're looking for someone to do a reboot of Battlestar Galactica. Would you be interested? And I had remembered the show from the 70s.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't know. Let me watch it. I haven't seen it in a long time. I watched it over a weekend. Got it on VHS from Blockbuster, because that's what it was in those days.
Yeah.
And come Monday, I was like, yeah, I think we could really do something interesting with this show at that moment in time, which was just a few months after the 9/11 attacks.
Sure.
And I realized if you did this story about an apocalyptic attack and about the survivors that run into the night and are chased by their enemies, it would have a whole different resonance than it did in the 1970s, and you could do something really interesting. And so I said, yeah, I'm in.
I like how I'm going to test your memory, and you're like, January of 2000. That's incredible. Mary, what about you?
Well, I won't be able to give you the year, but I was at Sardi's at lunch. I just told this today. I know it sounds like a cliche, but they came in and told me there was an offer for a pilot that would be this sort of reinvention of the show Battlestar Galactica, which I'd heard about, but I was a New York actress at the time, and I didn't have television.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm like, oh, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I read it and went, oh, thank you, Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the ride began.
Yeah.
I'm sure very different experiences writing, acting, but when you guys look back on this experience, is it all kind of a blur? Are there specific episodes or moments that stand out to you, or is it all kind of one experience?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, a lot of it is very vibrant in my memory of specific episodes, specific moments, scripts, editing times. There was a moment I remember walking down to the set, and it was the scene where they showed Laura the Phoenix, the Viper they had hand built, and they called it Laura. Yeah. And I remember, I'll choke up as I tell the story. I walked in there and I watched you do the scene. And I got really emotional, and I had to walk off the stage. I was like, oh, my God, it was so moving and so touching. And I remember walking off the stage and going, what an amazing thing I'm part of, and I was so grateful for it.
Oh, that's beautiful. I was going to say, actually, that is a very vivid memory for me as well, because it was the moment where this character finally understood that she was loved by the people that she was devoted to, but wasn't sure how they felt about her, and it was overwhelming. Like he is now, Ron, dear Ron, the biggest heart in the world and the greatest mind. So that is a good memory, and it's very vivid. Yeah. Some of them are vivid, some of them aren't. I can never remember what number the episode was when the fans ask. I don't remember the names, but I remember moments like when I gave Adama his Admiral wings. I can still feel it. Yeah. And it's treasure. Yeah. Treasure.
Well, you bring up fans. I'm curious, what is the fan interaction like? Obviously, we're 20 years removed, but it's still, we still have huge fans on the staff. We still talk about it. I'm curious, has the fan interaction died down for you all, stayed the same, gone up?
Can I jump in here? Because I do conventions still, I have seen a whole new wave of fans, and I also noticed about 10 years ago, Laura Roslin's fans were obviously primarily young women, and they were so bright, and they would show it. They were all going to college, and they were all and they would do this and that. And then about 10 years ago, all these young men started showing up and loving all the women in Battlestar, because these young men grew up at a different time, and they were, I hate to use this word, but feminized at an earlier age, and were much more enmeshed with the experience of women leaders. So that was really fun to watch.
That's amazing that you were able to feel that shift.
Oh, yeah.
That it was so.
Well, they come to you and tell you.
Yeah.
So you're lucky, right?
Yeah. This is also a fandom. I feel like showrunners a lot of times sometimes can like slide under the radar. I feel like you can't with Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I get recognized periodically, and it's always sort of startling and surprising, and it's lovely. You know, it's very gratifying that people care about the show to this day as much as they do, and want to come up and just say something nice about it. I mean, it's really special.
Yeah. Is there something that you all took from the experience of doing this show that you tried to implement on other shows after this?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was my first time really show running a show. I'd show run Carnival before that, and a half season of Roswell before that.
Mm-hmm.
And Carnival was a very difficult experience for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But this was different, and this time I really wanted to make it a team. This is a team sport, I kept telling people, and I wanted us all to buy in and feel special. And I remember the feeling that we all had of it's us against the world. One day they'll like us. One day they'll love us.
Yeah.
We believe. And that spirit of all of us on that production is something I've tried very hard to take with me and emulate, and always try to recapture that spirit.
Yeah.
I learned patience as an actress because we went through some things in Battlestar. Ron and I were talking about it earlier, where we really weren't sure where we were going. Mm-hmm. And I came from the theater where the story's in front of you, and I came from film where the story's in front of you. So you know what you're going to play at the end before you start. And I learned so much about just waiting quietly to see what you uncover. Yeah. And that's what I love more than anything now. So
yeah. Did you come to San Diego Comic-Con during Battlestar?
Yes, several times. I remember the first time I'd ever been to Comic-Con was for Battlestar, and we came. It was myself and not Mary, but a few other members of the cast, and we came. It was before the miniseries had premiered, and it was a small room, and it was half empty, and it was a fairly hostile crowd. It was like questions: "Why are you turning Starbuck into a girl?"
Oh, wow!
And it was like, well, you have to trust. You'll see, and and then we went out and signed autographs on the floor. And people just kind of wandered up to take our art and didn't really know who the hell we were. And, oh, great, thank you.
Yeah.
Who are you? And why? Oh, okay. And they would walk off with the photos.
Yeah.
And then each year, you saw a bigger crowd. Like the next year, suddenly the room was full.
Sure.
And then the year after that, it was a bigger room. And by the end, it was this gigantic hall. And you walked down stage, and there were all the flashes and people screaming. And it was an amazing sort of arc to see the appreciation here grow over the course of the series.
Sure. Mary, so you weren't there that first year, but do you remember your first year?
I know I was here for an anniversary, so it must have been our 10. Yeah, we did our 10-year. Oh. Everybody was there. We got a whole weekend together. It was great. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, actually, speaking of, I have a memory for you all. We're doing a little walk down memory lane.
Oh, my gosh.
Your EW cover. What is that, 09? Mary, was that a shoot? Do you remember?
It was a shoot, yes. It was a shoot, and I believe it was in Los Angeles. And it was I do believe it was a shoot. And then there was one with Eddie and I shortly after that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Also, sex, violence, toasters?
I know, sex, violence, toasters?
That says it all.
Was any of that accurate?
It had all three, actually.
It had all three of those things. Yeah. Do you guys, to this day, have any, souvenirs? Have you kept anything for 20 years?
Well, you know how actors always try and sneak the costumes or whatever out. And I got away with Laura Roslin's one suit. No, she had more than one, but it took years, right? Yeah. So I had this great, thank God it was an Armani, because it lasted the test of time. Yeah. And then I can't remember. Oh, I was going to have it. And then I guess Universal, NBC, whoever it was, got it before I took it. Okay, roll the tape forward. Years later, I am at a convention. I believe I was in Dallas or Atlanta, and someone came to my table and handed me the suit because they had bought it at an auction a decade earlier, and they wanted me to have it because I told this story, and they brought me the suit, so I have it again.
Oh
And it still fits.
Amazing. That's the kicker.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have
I have a
something.
bunch of toys.
Yeah.
I have there were these props, these models of the Vipers and the Cylon Raiders that they used to put on the plotting board when they were plotting attacks. I have a set of those. I have a set of the insignia pins that they wore. I have a jacket. I have a giant wooden seal of the Galactica they used to hang in CIC that I don't know where to put.
I was about to say, where is that?
and I have the portrait of Baltar as president.
Oh,
the big portrait.
I am very angry with you. No, I'm not at all.
Amazing. Okay, well, I will let you go, but I cannot let you go, Ron. Is there anything at all you can tell me about ACOTAR?
I can tell you I am no longer working on it.
Okay.
Because I left Disney and
Okay.
I've returned to Sony.
Okay.
And ACOTAR was a project that was a 20th century television and Disney, so it was still I had worked on it for a while, but it was still in development, as they say, when I
Fair
left.
enough.
So I don't know what the status is anymore.
That's fair. Appreciate it. Well, thank you guys for stopping
you
by.
very much.
And everybody
Thank
else,
you.
stay tuned to EW.com for all your Comic-Con needs.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jared Hall here, hanging out in the Entertainment Weekly Comic-Con 2024 studio with the cast and director of Hellboy, The Crooked Man. We've got Adeline Rudolph, Jack Kessie, Jefferson White, and director Brian Taylor here. Hello to all of you. How's your Comic-Con so far?
So far, so good.
Yeah, good. Well, that's what we're hoping for here. I want to start out, you guys, EW.com, we debuted the trailer, gosh, it was a couple weeks ago. Enormous response to that. I'm wondering if you guys felt that response too.
Yeah, it was very gratifying. It was so cool.
Yeah.
You work on these things and you love them, and it is an amazing feeling to have people respond to it like that. It was so exciting.
And also terrifying.
Oh, in what way?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Terrifying in what way?
Well, I mean, this is a weird little movie, and we were out there in Bulgaria doing weird little things, and it just kind of seems like a little project that we're making, out of the derangement of our own hearts and minds. And so when you realize, oh no, actual human beings out there in the world we don't know are going to see this thing. Yeah. It's kind of a weird, uncomfortable feeling. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I just kind of like turn off all my social media and.
Oh, yeah. No, totally get it. I mean, it's been like a year and change since we kind of wrapped it, so it's been quiet, and now it's like a storm that just came, and we're ready to face it.
I think terrifying too on that note, just because we want to do it justice, and we poured, a lot of love into this, and we're really proud of it. And we're really happy about it. So, hopefully people feel the same way once the movie's out.
Yeah, you called it out there making this weird little movie. Certainly, when you watch the trailer, there is this feel that like this is an independent film versus some like big glossy Hollywood production. Curious, in what ways did that work to your benefit, but also what challenges did that present?
Oh, well, every movie has challenges. I guess at the end of the day, it is a different kind of a Hellboy movie. And, what we really tried to do was go back to the source material, the original Mike Mignola comic books, which are just like these amazing sort of pieces of genre, just pieces of folk horror. And that's the kind of Hellboy that we wanted to make. And we haven't really seen that on screen yet. I know Mike Mignola hadn't really seen it on screen yet, so it was really exciting for him, too, to kind of his sort of a little more, it's hard to say grounded about a movie with, with a guy with sawed off it and all of that, but in a way, it's just sort of like, let's say it's more intimate folk horror take on Hellboy.
Okay, that's fair. So here's the thing. This one, it does seem is born of, I'm going to word this in a way that's not shady, of the previous films not exactly living up to what fans had hoped they might be. So was that kind of in your mind, like we've got to get back to the source and the roots of these characters in the comics?
No, you don't think about other movies. I mean, look, the Guillermo movies have a ton of love. People love those movies, and Ron Perlman is like a legend.
Yep,
I love that guy. He's like a hero as an actor and a human being. It's like it's best when you go into something like this where you're taking on a character that's been done before. Don't think about that stuff at all. I didn't look back on any of the other movies. I'm sure these guys didn't either. We read the comic book and we were like, let's try to capture what's on the page.
Yeah. Okay, but Jack, is that easier said than done? Not thinking about who's come before. Like, were you intentional about how to distinguish your version of Hellboy from the others?
To be frank and 100% honest, not at all. Same kind of ditto. You just kind of take what you get. It's written for you. The costume's sort of created. You walk into it. And fortunately, I find a lot of similarities with that guy outside the 1,000-pound costume, But, got to smoke when I want to smoke. Personalities were kind of, similar, and I had a lot of fun with it. And, you just work with what you're given. And, I had a great time doing it.
Are you tired of the color red?
Black is my favorite color, but it's close to red.
Yeah.
No, I'm ready to do 5 more.
Oh, hey, see, there you go. So see this movie when it comes out. In terms of the costume, all paint. How did you guys approach that? Did you play around with different ways to accomplish the character look?
Ooh, that's above my pay grade. That was really, it's a whole different department. I just kind of sat in a chair for several hours and let them pick away at me. They kind of asked, "Is this comfortable?" And outside of that, it's.
He was like, "No,
no."
Never,
but
not for 1 second.
You got to do what you got to do. Yeah, I mean, I think they did a fantastic job, honestly. Entire crew.
It's a really amazing experience acting with Hellboy because it was incredibly immersive. Jack would have to come in much earlier than us in the day. Jack worked harder than anybody on this film. And for us, we would show up 4 hours after Jack, and at that point, he was Hellboy. He was immersed in this incredible, practical, prosthetic suit. It's all real. So we were effectively acting with Hellboy. I had the experience. I felt like a Make-A-Wish kid. You know, where like somebody show a superstar shows up in character for us. It was like that every day. It really was an amazing gift. The work that Jack did to bring that to life.
It was, you know, I was definitely the first one there, last one to leave for however long we were there, a couple months, 2 months, 3 months. That, you know, when we did rap and we showed up to the party, they thought I was like one of the transpo guys, you know, honestly. They're like, who is this guy? You know.
Adeline, did you get him to drive you around at all? Or?
Exactly. No, it was on that note, though, I really commend you because Jack was fantastic. He was, for me, what's really funny is I genuinely feel like Jack is Hellboy, like to a T. And it was just fantastic acting opposite of you. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm curious if each of you have a favorite Hellboy comic monster that you got to realize on screen in the context of this story.
Well, I mean, the Crooked Man is, you know,
it's your only, okay.
He's the big bad.
So that out. It's our only one here.
No, but I mean,
okay.
there's lots of monsters. But one thing that we try to do in the movie that I kind of felt was in keeping with the more folk horror grounded tone is we weren't really inventing a lot of like outlandish creatures. You know, there's no purple aliens. You know, all of the monsters are based on real animals. You know, so there's just, it's a spider, it's a snake, it's a crow. They may not be the size that you're used to of those animals, but they're all based like literally on real animals, things you would really see in that haunted woods.
Well, then, in those regards, I mean, tell me about just getting into that world and interacting, having those kinds of like favorite moments, favorite scenes, favorite ones you got to deal with.
Go ahead, guys.
Okay, all right. One of my, well, without spoiling anything, right? So that's the issue.
Spoil
it. Circle back to me, please. Let me take it. I'll think on it.
I will say, I think there's another, like, the Crooked Man is an iconic villain in this story, but Effie Kolb, this witch who sort of is the Crooked Man's lieutenant, played by Leah McNamara in the film, that was also a presence that I found very haunting. I thought she was incredible and a very different energy. You know, the Crooked Man is a monster, is a sort of twisted, you know, horrifying figure. And Effie's energy is so different. She's so challenging in a different way. And Leo was such an incredible performer to work with as well. So just a huge shout out to her.
Okay, I've thought of one. There was a moment where we got to watch Hannah, who plays Cora Fisher, in her bedroom. And it was kind of her scene and us reacting to her. And she did such a fantastic job. It was so believable. She was so immersed in it. She was such a phenomenal performer. That was one of my favorite days. I also really got a shout out to Joseph, who plays the Reverend. I love him. I adore him. He's fantastic.
Joseph Marcel.
Yes, he's so funny. He's so talented. He brought so much to this movie, and I can't wait for people to see his performance as well. Yeah.
Jack, you got one?
You know, I was going to say, excuse me, the microphone. You know, it's not a character, but I would say the set design in general felt like one big character, and I thought the crew did a fantastic job hopping from, I mentioned this earlier, from world to world, like the Appalachian setting and the little boy just shivering on the floor. I don't want to give away too much, obviously, but yeah, just the set design I thought was really, really, really great. Really made it easier to kind of immerse yourself and be in the movie. If that makes any sense,
Yeah. Last thing here, when all of you weren't busy out in the woods and filming and consumed by this, horror world that's in this story here, what does one do for fun in Bulgaria?
So much.
Yeah?
I love Bulgaria.
Yeah.
I genuinely love shooting there. There's a lot of really cute coffee shops. There's a lot of beautiful parks. The people are very friendly. There's great shopping, very cute little stores. Great restaurants, really good food over there. I mean, we went on a lot of like coffee dates and
We
just hung
did,
out.
yeah.
And I went to the Literary Museum with Joseph, and we just, found out about this Bulgarian poet. It's so rich in culture. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and Jeff spent a lot of time out in the woods, just like burning effigies and doing occult incantations and just running around naked, screaming at the stars.
Mostly just the wood stuff. Mostly just burning the effigies, honestly.
There's a lot of fun to be had in the woods, for sure. Yeah. Well, all of you
Should be the tagline of this movie.
Fun in the woods, yeah. Well, all of you, thanks so much for being here. Congrats on the
Thank
film.
you.
I know a lot of people excited to see this one. So, do we know yet when they can see?
I don't have a solid date yet, but I'm sure that's going to be
fall.
that's
Stay
gonna come out early
tuned.
fall. Sometime
All
in
right,
fall.
we will bring that announcement to you when we've got it. All right, thanks again. Thanks so much to all of you for tuning in. We've got we've got coverage all weekend of Comic-Con. So stay tuned here and also at EW.com.
Action.
That was good.
I'm Sam Hyfo. Welcome to Entertainment Weekly's 2024 Comic-Con studio. Joined now by the team behind What We Do in the Shadows, the final season. I feel like there should be a colon, the final season. Okay, I would actually love to start, if you all will indulge me, if you can remember for the actors, since we are preparing to say goodbye to this incredible show, do you all remember your first scenes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What were they?
My first scene was in a office, and it's the scene where you see me popping up and looking over the cubicles, and Taika and Jermaine had me do it, I think, 30 times, and it was the same each time, and they finally got whatever it was they were looking for. So, yeah, I absolutely remember.
To this day, do you know what they were looking for?
Not a clue, because I didn't really do anything differently. There was no real direction given, so, yeah.
Amazing. Matt, what about you?
The thing that it was, Paul will have to help me here. I think it was a house meeting in the foyer with Nandor, Natasha.
With everyone.
Yeah.
But the first...
That was in Los Angeles, though. That was near Chatsworth.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
That wasn't in Canada where the rest of it is.
Right.
And that all survives, because that's episode 1, is that right?
That's right. I do remember one of Matt's first scenes that I remember was they were supposed to be floating outside a window up around the 3rd floor, and it was raining, and it was the middle of the night, and Matt and Kayvon and Natasha were hung from wires, and they were wet and cold, and we didn't find out till later that Matt is actually a little bit afraid of heights.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
How high up were you?
Too high.
They were very high.
And I was wearing a cape, and there was very high winds, and the cape would flap around me and tap me on the shoulder. And I was the last one of the 3.
Yeah.
And that scared the shit out of me, because I thought it was someone who was...
Up in the air, someone somehow tapping you on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Kristen?
Thanks. Yeah, so I think my first scene was when I asked them why they didn't reply to the Ravens. And I was outside the window, and that's when... And they were, like, rolling me in on something, and I had a fan and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember being really nervous about that whole thing, because this is my first time working again with Jermaine and Taika and Paul since Flight of the Conchords, and I just wanted to, I was like, if there's any 3 people you want to be very funny for, it's them. So I was nervous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you pretty quickly feel like at home?
Never.
Never stop nervous?
Yeah, I always felt pretty nervous. Yeah, but it's good because it fit in with the character. I think when we were inside, and I was walking around, showing them around the Vampiric Council, and with Harvey there and stuff, then I started to relax.
Yeah. Okay, I want to go back here. When you know you're writing the final season, does it change your approach at all?
I can talk about it.
No, I mean, yes and no. Like, we know it mostly changes our approach, going like, this is the last time we'll write a second episode or something. But we really wanted to make this final season not one of those self-indulgent final seasons that's sentimental and where the TV announcer would go like a very special season of What We Do in the Shadows. We just wanted to make it as funny or funnier than the other seasons. So it's... And I did procrastinate a long time as far as the work on getting the final episode written. But everything else was just as fun as we've always done it, because we really wanted to be like, if you happen to tune in and this is the first time you've seen the show, you'll still understand everything.
Yeah, I mean, well, directing, I kind of just followed that, where it's like you don't want to put too much weight on the comedy. You just want it to be kind of flowing, and what makes this show beautiful is just the vibe on set, and after the great script, we take it to the stage and just kind of have a certain carefree vibe about putting it all together, which I think comes through. And so the trick of the final season was making sure that it didn't get too weighty.
Sure.
And you're, even though as the season came to an end, it's kind of like you feel the inherent weight of what's going on, where you're like, this is the last time we're going to be in this set.
Yeah.
And so, you know, but you still got to come out with the comedy that people expect without being very much into yourself, you know?
I think he's having a breakdown, guys. It's finally happening.
It was just one question.
I'm flowy, dude. I'm really wavy right now, okay? I'm feeling flowy and wavy, and, you know, that's... If y'all want to... I'll get out of here if you need. Like, I don't know. Shit, man. Saying I love you guys without saying I love you, you know? Dang, bro.
You're not an I love you group.
I know, and that's why I love you. That is why.
And that's what Kyle adds to the group, is being the I love you guy.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. This is live?
It's live.
Oh, shit.
Did it, for the cast, did it feel different filming the final season? Like, was there anyone who was like that senior in high school who's like, oh, our last Tuesday, our last lunch together? Was there any of that?
Yeah, Harvey would do that once in a while, but for the rest of us, no, I mean,
all the time.
Yeah, it was, you know, business as usual for the most part. We film in such a bubble up in Toronto, and a lot of times you're just exhausted by the third week. And so you're really just trying to think of when you're going to catch some sleep next. So the last couple weeks, it started to get a little bittersweet. But
yeah.
I think it really was sad when you would finish a scene and it would be the last scene in that set, and they would not even wait for you to step away before they were like tearing down the walls. I'm like, game over. That was crazy.
If you were in denial, you couldn't be anymore at that moment. Okay, looking back, if this show, I mean, I hope this isn't the case, but if there had to be known for one scene, what scene would you want What We Do in the Shadows to be known for?
God. The one scene.
I think the final scene with the group in this coming season.
Okay.
It's a good scene.
Yeah.
Good wrap.
Oh.
Yes, it is. It's beautiful.
With
beautiful
the bear?
moment.
Oh, the crossover with the bear?
No, I mean, the
whoa,
bear
whoa.
in the scene.
Oh, yes.
Without spoilers, can you tell us anything about that scene?
It's like most of my favorite scenes on the show, which is it's the whole all the characters all together in one room, talking / arguing.
That's what we filmed.
Yeah.
I always like it. And as far as the scene that defines the show, I think the whole episode of them trying to get baby Colin into private school was one of my favorites, because it was everyone all together, and it was just one room and just characters that I love being funny.
Yeah.
Man, there's so many freaking scenes. Like, I could go on forever and talk about how much I love these guys and everything. But one scene that defines the whole, I don't know, I like the one when Laszlo came back from helping his ghost out. And he's like walking into his room, and he didn't want to say what he did, but his room is covered with ejaculate. To me, that's like that's kind of my vibe. Also, like really, really dirty, nasty stuff.
That is Kyle's vibe.
Yeah. But I mean, geez, you can't say one, right?
No. I mean, you did kind of, but
I
you
did do it. You're right.
Very
I did.
specific one.
I know that is not the one I would have imagined, but that's cool.
I don't know why it popped into my head, but it did, you guys. What can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, do you remember that scene?
I don't, to be honest. We filmed a lot of television, so I can't remember which like season stuff comes from now, because there's been sort of so much of it. No, I mean it's all great. I've loved every minute.
Yeah. Does it feel like, because I feel like I've talked to people where there are different stages of ending, right? You have to finish filming, but it hasn't aired yet. Obviously, you guys are here talking about it. Like, does it feel like it's over yet, or do you feel like maybe once it airs,
it does.
feels over?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And it's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? I mean, I've said this before, but I'm not nostalgic about my own things. I think that we ended at the sort of perfect time, and I wouldn't have, no needed to do anymore. Like it's all been said, you know, it's all kind of self-contained, and you know, it's there forever.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I cannot wait to watch it. Thank you guys for stopping by.
Thank you.
Everybody
Thank
else,
you.
stay tuned to EW.com for all your Comic-Con needs.
This is live.
On
so
YouTube.
I